Josh Osberg on Twitter at Josh Osberg4. You can check me out on Twitter at Justin Labar as we're getting closer and closer to SummerSlam. Of course, Josh and I will both be live tweeting not only on SummerSlam Sunday, but we'll be tweeting all the way leading up to it. Of course, we'll encourage you to play WrestleRumble.com. A lot of fun there to make the predictions of who's going to win. Top prize, $1,000. And Josh,
where are you going to be? I'm not going to be in Brooklyn. Where are you going to be there?
Where am I going to be?
Yeah, where at? What bar? What restaurant? Where can the LaBarbarians gather, Justin, to relish in your glory? I want to know. Loyal
LaBarbarians know every year I'm at 205th before an event at Barclays. That's where I'll be.
205th, huh?
205th. Good drink specials, good food specials. And one of the marquee matches, Josh, is WWE World Champion and AJ Styles defending against Samoa Joe, a match a lot of people have wanted to see ever since both these guys have wound up in a WWE with WWE contracts. Look, let's put it out there. Very little chance I think Samoa Joe wins this. But that aside, obviously a lot to look forward to, and they've done well in the promos the last few weeks, getting personal with each other.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because Samoa Joe has never, aside from a couple of minor injuries in WWE, he's never been a guy that has let me down. He's never been a guy that I watch his match or I listen to his promos or I follow his storylines. He's never let me down. And prime example was when he had the opportunity to compete against Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire. That was an 8 or 9 minute match. It was hard hitting. He came in like a ball of fire, pun intended. But he also did such a great job before that, really enhancing that feud when Lesnar wasn't there, getting in Paul Heyman's face and threatening him and doing things like that. So I'm seeing a little bit of Samoa Joe back then as I am now. Obviously, AJ Styles a different opponent. But getting into the family, the personal thing, I actually think that's a good idea for Samoa Joe because AJ Styles is known to be a guy that's busting his ass every single week. He's going to live events. He's doing this, he's doing that. And the fact that he has all these kids at home and he's not there, I have no children. You do. You can kind of relate to being on the road and not being there, and maybe people viewing you as, say, I'm not a great father. Obviously, that's not the case. But I love the fact because AJ Styles is such a 100% over babyface. No matter what you do with him, people are going to cheer him. But Samoa Joe still gets those cheers, still gets those boos. Samoa Joe might be the perfect combination of a tweener right now because a lot of people love him, but still a lot of people hate him.
Well, I hate and rarely do I believe in somebody being a tweener, but I know what you're saying. He's such a badass. You kind of can't help but want to be on his side. What I like about this is that AJ Styles, for as good of a performer as he is, and as hell of a title run that he's having, it is very repetitive. It's a lot of hey, this is my house. I built it. I'm the best in the ring. Come try to take it from me, and the dimensions really don't. It doesn't really get any deeper than that. That's as deep as the pool gets. But I like the fact that they're at least pulling out the stuff of we slept in Fleabag motels together, and you were there when my kids were born, and that, as you said, relatable. It makes you go, wow, have I ever? What would I feel if somebody's coming after my prized possession, or somebody's trying to knock me off the pedestal, and somebody that I trusted? So it's got a lot of good personal elements, much like Miz and Bryan, as we talked about earlier. But again, thinking smart here, AJ Styles, he's going to be on the cover of the video game this fall. It makes it hard with those kind of things, knowing that it makes it hard to say, okay, I'm going to see a really good match when the bell rings, but do I have any doubt of what the outcome is going to be? So I urge WWE not to take the belt off of AJ Styles, but to give us as creative of a finish as possible.
Yeah, I think so too. But we could have a creative finish, but we can't have a finish that we've had with Nakamura.
Right.
It can't be super dirty. It can't be questionable. It can't be, we have 4 more matches we're going to see. I'm all for Samoa Joe and AJ Styles extending this feud after SummerSlam. When I think about it, I tweeted it earlier, and I know it's not going to happen. You kind of teased it before. It has every right to be in the main event, the last match. But realistically speaking, if I want this match to be one of the best matches on the card, put it first. Put it in the first match of the night. Yep. Give it 20, 25 minutes. You've seen what even the crowd at WrestleMania, whenever you put Styles and Nakamura middle of the show, did to that match. I watched it back. It was a lot better being on TV than in person. If you have Brooklyn start off with Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, that place will chant for 5 minutes before the match even starts, and that's what you want with that crowd. You want that electricity from the very get-go. Again, probably not going to happen. More likely seeing Seth Rollins and Ziggler kick it off, or potentially something like Nakamura and Jeff Hardy. But if they really want to make this match a big focal point, either first or last. Those are my choices, not in between.
I'm all for that. I've been a proponent several times of putting now that we have the 2 world titles, especially when you have a Brock Lesnar on the card, of moving AJ Styles or whoever that other world champion is as far away from Brock Lesnar's match so it can have its own shine. And I say it all the time. how you start the show is just as important as how you finish the show. So it's not a knock if you get told you're going out first. I know that there is a term in wrestling called being a curtain jerker, but on these big shows, these big stages that WWE does, I think when they have multiple main events, which that's the reality here, you have the Brock Lesnar match, which is the true main event. You have a Daniel Bryan Miz, which is got a main event status to it, and of course this world title match, and then of course let's not forget Ronda Rousey. So when you can make a case for 4 matches that are the premier matches, I think you need to separate all 4 of them. And Ronda Rousey's not going to go on first, and I don't think Bryan and Miz are going to go on first. And obviously Brock's not going on first. So hey, put AJ on first. Let him be the workhorse that opens everything up for that opening half hour, like you mentioned.
And look how good it did at WrestleMania with Shane McMahon. Absolutely. That really set the bar for the entire night.
Absolutely. At Josh Eisenberg 4, at Justin LeBar. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Go to a Chair Shot Rally across social media. We'll have everything there. And, of course, WrestlingInc.com will have all of your updates as we get closer and closer to SummerSlam. Josh and I will be back next week as we make our final predictions for who's walking out a winner and who's going to win that Wrestle Rumble $1,000 prize. We'll see you next week.